So I'm deep into mixing a song right now, and if you haven't been here before, this is a music production channel. We talk about gear on here as well, but it's all in an effort to make music. Music comes first here and creativity comes first. Everything else is secondary and just help along the way to make great music. And in this video, I want to talk about what I think is the greatest gig in music right now, and it might not be what you think. I also want to touch on some ideas like collaboration versus doing everything yourself. Because the general consensus, if you watch a lot of music YouTube, you have people from Nashville, and it's very much a collaborative effort. And I do think this is a great way to work. But I also think that sometimes maybe this waters down your idea as an artist and the things you need to say. And if you're doing it independently, I think this is the best way to work. We're going to give it away right here at the beginning. And I want to jump in to why I think this and why a lot of people think this. We have a lot of artists right now that are making a lot of money, contrary to what people say about there's no money in music. And a lot of people are doing it independently and getting 100% of the profit because they have no record label and they're doing it all themselves. If you're an independent music artist, there might be a pretty good chance right now that you're frustrated with something. Either people aren't hearing your music on the streaming platforms, or the algorithm isn't suggesting your videos on YouTube to people. Whatever the case may be, just keep going. I'm here to tell you we're in a great time for music, and never before has an artist's vision been able to be brought to the people in such a pure way. So if you're like me and watch a lot of music related YouTube, chances are you get a lot of videos from Nashville players. And I make, for the most part, rock music here in this studio. And even though Nashville is country music USA, there's a lot of rock going on down there too. And these guys all work in a collaborative way, and there's nothing wrong with this. But when you see these projects coming out of Nashville, a lot of times there's 8 to 10 songwriters on every song. And there's no way that the artist's vision can be conveyed in a pure way. No matter how great the outcome, you have all the best players, the best producer on the song, getting great sonics, great sounding music. But it's all detracting from the pure vision of the artist. And this is why things like AI aren't going to work. And we're going to have a new revolution in music. The easy, shortcut way, anything that detracts from the artist's vision is going to be cast aside. Mark my words on this. There's a lot of people that feel this way. You have pop music where everybody's using the same kick drum sample, and everything's starting to sound very homogenized and very much alike. And this is all causing just a boredom with music. And if you're an independent artist, you're in a great time, and you probably have the best gig out there right now. Even if you work another job and it's not your sole source of income, stick with it, because music's making a comeback in a big way, and I'm here for it. Now, if you want to really feel like this is the greatest time for music, you have to do a lot of work, because people forget that the music industry used to be ran solely by record labels. And record labels put a lot of money behind things, and they had different people specializing in every aspect of the production, promotion, and developing artists. You have to be vigilant about what you do. If you're working on a project, put your camera up. Roll some footage of what you're doing, capturing the music, setting up microphones. Every aspect of the process needs to be captured. These are all things you can use in the promotion process for your song, so people have a better chance of getting heard and getting the algorithm to work for you. The algorithm loves consistency and effort. And videos, for me, take a back seat to the music, but they're always running because I'm thinking about the product, and in the end, I want my product to get heard. There's only one way to do it, and it's just to think about things like a record label, think about everything that they would do to get this music going. Even things like boosting a post. If your music starts to get a little bit of traction, you don't want that to die off. You don't want to get content with the views you're getting and the listens you're getting and say, it's starting to work for me, and just kick back. That's when you hit things harder. That's when you keep putting music out on a more consistent basis. It's a good idea to have some music banked up before you actually start a campaign of releasing music. Maybe have a whole album or two banked up so you can release music every week or 2 a month. Get these projects out in a way that's consistent, and when people are really starting to vibe on one song, hit them with another one so they can't forget about what you're doing as an artist. There's a lot of things to think about, and while this is a great time for music, don't think or don't let anybody tell you that it's not a lot of work, because you have to treat it like a job. It's supposed to be fun. It has to be fun. But if you want this thing to work for you in any fashion, you have to keep things rolling out. There's a lot of things to think about. I just got my first song playlisted. And if you want things playlisted, you need to put your music out on a Friday. I don't think everybody knows about this. I didn't know about it for a long time. And putting your music out on a Friday doesn't guarantee you're going to make a playlist. I made a DistroKid Spotify playlist off this song. I put it out on Halloween, which was a Friday. It felt good. It gets more listeners on the song. But it's for a very short period. Then you're off that playlist, and you have to keep things coming out. You have to get the music production process and your workflow going in a way that is consistent, so as you're working on a project, another one's coming out. So there's never any dead spots in that interval. Every 2 weeks releasing a project, if you're very consistent about that, it's going to feel to the listener and the viewer like you're doing things all the time. And this is what we want. Record labels had millions of dollars to put into an artist to get them on the radio. We don't have that. So what we do have is the ability to control how hard we work and what we put out. So don't ever sit on your laurels and get happy with where you're at, because somebody is always behind you working harder and doing more and making great sounding music. The thing I want to stress to you most about this being the greatest gig in music, if you're going to make that work for you, you have to be covering all your bases in multiple ways. First of all, with social media, you need to be hitting Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Kids control music, and kids go to TikTok a lot of times. If there's going to be a revolution and people are going to buck this AI and all this homogenized music, it's going to start with the kids, and there's a good chance it's going to be with TikTok. Also, the same applies to releasing your music. I'm bad about not using SoundCloud because I remember back in the day, SoundCloud used to all sound like demos, and not very great demos at that. Everything I heard on it sounded like that. I like to put my music, which is definitely produced in a way that's competitive with big label releases. I want to put all that out on all the platforms that people get their music. Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music, Deezer, and using a service like DistroKid is a good way to do this and hit all those bases at once. But also think about Bandcamp and SoundCloud. A lot of people are kind of bucking the DistroKid right now because, like I spoke about in a recent live stream, DistroKid even raised their rates $2, and the artists aren't seeing that money for the most part, unless they're doing really well as an artist. $2 isn't a big ask for me. I wish artists got paid more. But again, this really depends on the artist and you doing the work and putting out your music so it can get heard. So cover all your bases in all the ways that you need to cover your bases. Make a lot of content and keep it flowing. Make yourself unignorable. It's a new day, a new shirt. It's raining outside. And before I wrap this video up, I want to say that if you're watching this video, if YouTube suggested it to you, you're a person who appreciates music and art and creativity, and it's up to people like you, to people like us, to keep music and art and creativity alive in this time of AI and not knowing what's coming and everything being homogenized and watered down. We have to make the effort and do the work to keep music alive so people will appreciate the humanity in art. And there's a lot of work to do. Everything from knowing aspect ratios in videos and for your album covers to getting your sounds right and your levels right to put it up, your music up for streaming. There's so much you need to know. And if you need any help along the way, leave me a comment in the video, shoot me an email, and I'm here to help because we have to root for each other in this time, and music is going to make a comeback. Real music's going to make a comeback, but it's up to us to do the work. Don't be a slave to the algorithm. Make the algorithm work for you. And I'll be back with another video very soon. Rock and roll.